and argue that I think there's been.
How did you think today's cross went of Lawnmower?
It's a bittersweet day in a lot of ways. In my opinion, it came out. Anybody who was sitting in the courtroom was able to see that this was a man that was saying what he needed to say to get a deal, that he would tell a story and then change that story, and then after he told the second story, change it back to another one. And then you look at it and you say to yourself, here's a man that he's just trying to stay out of prison by pointing at his friend. Rod Blagojevich and Lon Monk were friends for a long time, and I think it's evident when it came at the end of the day, when it comes to it, he couldn't tell you one deal that they had done that was illegal. He couldn't tell you $1 that the governor took. In fact, he said very clearly that he took cash, but the governor never did and never would have approved of anyone taking cash.
Sam, aren't the charges attempted extortion? Doesn't mean that there had to be the actual follow-through in that case?
Well, certainly, but you have to attempt it. If you don't know what's going on, and that's exactly what Lon Monk said. He couldn't name one deal that the governor attempted. He couldn't name one deal that the governor did anything. He couldn't name one state action that he was asked to do. Nothing.
So the biggest crime from where you sat today was that this guy has a bad memory. If he can't name what they are, then it didn't happen?
Well, number one, if he's the main person in it, you would think he could remember the thing that he was supposed to have done wrong. He couldn't name one, not one single crime that took place, not one single attempt that took place. Of course not. The governor's here charged with, like you say, attempted extortion. Who did he attempt to extort? He couldn't name one person. He couldn't name one thing. He couldn't name $1. I'm still waiting to find out who he attempted to extort.
Are you referring specifically to that whiteboard, or are you referring to, the governor's been caught on tape elsewhere talking about other things. Are you specifically just referring to those?
Well, when you say caught on tape, I heard the tape in there today where he specifically told Lon Monk not to contact Jesse Jackson Jr. I'm not quite sure what tape you're referring to. He simply said, Jesse Jackson will offer you campaign fundraising. Don't call him back. Now, that's the tape I heard. I'm not quite sure which tape you're referring to. Maybe it's the tape in which Lon Monk was asking directions, but I have yet to hear a tape that says that Rod Blagojevich committed a single act that was wrong.
What do you think about the tapes played so far? Damaging at all, or what do you think?
No, we have taken the position, I've listened to them all many times, as I'm sure you're aware. We have taken the position, when these tapes are heard in full, you're going to see the truth, that this man was simply trying to do things for the state of Illinois. And that became evident, I think, in many of these tapes when they're talking about some of the conversations that the governor had regarding the state of Illinois and the things he was going to do for the state of Illinois. And by the time this case is over, and again, there's still a protective order. I can't talk about the tapes that have not been released. But by the time this case is over, you're going to see what he was doing was things for us.
You mentioned several times, you pressed on the issue of hush money.
Yes.
A couple times.
Yes.
Didn't get an answer on that. You believe the money that Resco was giving Monk was to shut him up? Would you elaborate?
Sure. Just look at it like I told Monk, and I went through it with him. Look at the timing of it. In the spring of #04, it first comes to the attention that Tony Resco has done something at the health facilities planning board. In spring of '04, Lon Monk admitted that the governor pulls Tony Resco aside and asks him, are you doing something over there? And Tony tells him in the spring of '04, no, I'm not doing anything. And in the spring of '04, the governor turns him into the inspector general, makes an investigation by the inspector general on, who Lon Monk says is a co-conspirator, on Tony Resco. And what happens right when that occurs, right when the governor says go to the inspector general? That's when Lon Monk starts taking money, and by '05, that's when he starts lying to the feds. Now you tell me what that is. At the same time, Lon Monk admits one thing and one thing for sure. I took money, but I wasn't going to tell Rod Blagojevich because he wouldn't approve. That's hush money. That's hush money.
Based on that one conversation with Lon Monk and Governor Blagojevich, are you trying to say that Governor Blagojevich didn't want any money from Jesse Jackson Jr. whatsoever?
That's what I'm telling you, not based only on, as far as the tapes are concerned, that's the only one I can base it on because there's a protective order. But at the end of the day, once you hear the tapes, you will see that's a consistent theme. He, as I said in my opening statement, and this is the last thing I'll say, he was raising Jesse Jackson up because the Washington establishment wanted anybody but him. And if you raise Jesse Jackson up in the Washington's mind, they'll come forward and do Lisa Madigan. And I promise you, by the end of this case, you will see that's true. Thank you.
Joe Perry.